Good morning, traders. Today is Wednesday, November 10th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. The theme of the morning, fear and panic. Is it coming? Are we about to have a major pullback in the market? Well, let's take a look. First off, the momentum to the upside that we've had over the last few weeks is clearly come completely to an end. We had a rotational day 2 days ago that was inside the previous day's range, and we had overlapping value for the first time in a while. So that was a sign that it could be coming to an end. And then yesterday we had the major pullback that made value lower, and we just rotated around here, finding support in this sort of like 70-ish area and trying to get higher, but just couldn't all day. So when we left yesterday, my basic principle in thinking about the future was if we gap down tomorrow morning, being this morning, that will likely bring in more momentum to the downside. The last major support that the market has is this little node right here around, say, 51-ish. Okay, you could call it the base of the spike up from the third. If that fails, there's a lot of single prints in need of backfilling in here. The first base of those single prints is 46.3275. So if we get below the base of the spike at 46.49, we're almost certainly going down to 46.33. Okay, it's just like there's just no support in here whatsoever. So if it gets through there, it's going to head down. Now the base of those single prints may be enough support. But when I look at the volume, the cumulative volume, sorry, let me just get my drawing tool up here. So when I look over at the cumulative volume over here, it's so very thin that I don't know that that will be enough of support right here at the base of those single prints. So that increases the odds we will need to trade down to the next set of single prints, which would be down here at 46.20. So if we get below 46.49, there's a very high probability we're going down to 46.20. We are gapping down, so the momentum is to the downside. The first thing to watch this morning as we open is the gap and go. Does the market backfill getting to yesterday's low at 46.6325, or does it just push straight lower? A push straight lower is bearish. Filling that gap and then finding resistance there is also, is also bearish, okay? So it looks like they're going for that gap fill. I also marked the overnight low as weak, meaning it is in need of repair because it is almost to the tick at the low from the 4th. Okay. Okay, so that's the gap filled. Now, if we find resistance here at yesterday's low, and we start to push back down, that would be bearish. Obviously, if we pull back down and we find support there, that would be not bullish, but it would be, the least bearish scenario. Either way, the market's going to have a lot of resistance in here it needs to push through if it's going to go higher today. So there's not a lot of bullishness to be found in this market just yet. It's important to note that the overnight inventory is almost entirely net short, so we are expecting some counter auction to the upside. So we don't want to be fooled by thinking that it's bulls stepping in here when it's just a counter auction. All right. Well, we can't trust the internals just yet because of that counter, or because of the overnight inventory being net short. They're going to need some time to kind of settle in before they give us a clear signal. But so far, this is a gap and go. So that is bearish. Let's see how the market reacts to that overnight low. Does it just get a few ticks below it and find support? If not, that is extremely bearish. That we're looking at further downside continuation. Okay, we have good taper on the low. Doesn't mean that's going to be the low of the day, but just that if it was, it would have good taper. Okay, buyers are stepping in here. So there's going to be resistance as we work our way up into, this area where the market spent so much time yesterday and put in so much volume. That will act as resistance. But the fact that this is no longer a straight gap and go is a little bit more bullish. Okay, the market's starting to get some resistance here at yesterday's low. Might be a sign it needs to head down and test that overnight low. Again, once we start to push below the overnight low, the market gets very bearish that it's going to need to pull down at least to the base of the spike at 46, 49.50. So that is, if it breaks below this low, it's likely to head down to here. Or sorry, not that low, this low. Breaks this, head down to here. Okay, so now as we start to push our way up into this volume node from yesterday, we're looking for taper at the high. We're looking for the volume to get thinner and thinner up in here as a sign that we're running into resistance and may need to push back down again. But so far, every high they've made this morning has had bad taper, meaning it still needs more two-sided trade, including the current high. Good morning, Cyrus. Welcome. Good morning, Mediterra. RK, good to see you. Diego, good morning. J Trader, good morning. Mangala, good morning to you. Yes, please smash the like button, everyone. Appreciate you. S&P Addict, good morning to you. Noto Cactus Heart, good morning. Nicholas, good morning to you. Phoenix, howdy. Philip, good morning. Psyworker, welcome. Jose, good morning to you. Peter, and down we go. Not quite yet. The internal sending us some mixed signals here. The ticks are pulling back, but the advancers versus decliners are pretty strong. So there is buying happening in the market. Also, we did not get a gap and go. To have gotten a gap and go, the market should have basically just kind of tested up here and then pulled right back down. But instead, it's, competing support and resistance. So there is desire to do business here by the buyers. How far they'll get up, I do not know. But it's just not quite as bearish as I would have thought at the open. Joe Park, greetings from Korea. Scooball, good morning to you. Rocket got his 3 Russell on the rip. Joe Park. When asked which Korea, he said the same side that the market is moving. Oh, that's brilliant. Brett, good morning to you. Pavel, good to see you. Jerry, wonder how the bank holiday will affect things. It's just the bond markets that are closing. The stock market is still open. So it affects nothing as far as I'm concerned. All right, so here we go. We're pushing up into the resistance, and we are currently seeing some taper. So the question is, what does the volume look like up in here? Does it remain thin, or do they start to build in some volume, start turning some candlesticks pink? If they do that, the buyers are taking control, and they're trying to take the market higher. They bought the dip, so to speak. Ray from Knoxville, good morning to you. Jonathan, no, tomorrow's a holiday, but it's not going to affect us. Ronald, good morning to you. Arthur, welcome. Alexander, good day. Oscar, good morning to you. Bow Bow, good morning. All right, they're bringing in kink. Bringing in some kink. Bringing in pink candles up here. So that's a sign the buyers are continuing to step in. The ultimate question, are they new buyers, or are we just squeezing out some of the shorts from the overnight? Are they just starting to give up on their positions? Henry, good morning. Jeremy, institutional trading will be thin. We'll see. Yeah, volume might be thin tomorrow. I'd be ready to bail on it if a couple hours into the day the market wasn't moving and it had thin volume. I'd say, take the rest of the day off, but I suspect there'll still be retail in there trading. Gold is skyrocketing. Man, I haven't heard anybody talk about gold in a long time. Oh my God. Man, on the 15-minute, gold is moving. Oh, you know why? It just broke out of a downtrend. That's what it is. So gold had this like downtrend on the daily, and breaking out of that is giving it some pressure to the upside. There you go. Inflation hedge, that's what it's usually for. I wonder if Bitcoin is spiking this morning. Bitcoin at 68. Yep. Moving in tangent with the gold. Yeah, there you go, Jonathan. BTC hit 69. Wow. Pavel, Charles have BTC? Yeah, I have some in my long-term portfolio. I don't trade it anymore, though. Too volatile for me. All right, buyers are slowly starting to run out here. I don't love the 10 contracts at the high, but that is good taper. Oh, no, it's actually not great taper. It's acceptable taper. But we probably do need to push up in there one more time to truly run out of buyers. Leves, so far, like yesterday, all the large players are on the sell side. Very interesting. Yeah, the whole crypto market is at all-time highs. All right, we're getting a short squeeze here, clearly. Some of those overnight traders are finally giving up. Okay, we got a bounce off the 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles. Man, so this is new buyers stepping in. It's important to note value is overlapping to lower, which is not quite as bearish as it was at the open when it was completely lower. Overlapping to lower increases the odds of either sideways or down movement. The breadth looking very strong this morning. Brian, this feels strange, FOMO-y. Yeah, I don't know that it does. I mean, they kind of just they have little squeezes where they push higher and then they come back down and they build support and then grind their way back up and then they get another little pop and they do it again. I mean, that's buyers stepping in. The real sort of thing that will get me bullish now is if the market gets a big pullback and then finds support somewhere above yesterday's low. Then I'll truly switch to bullishness. I'd love to see the market pull down to about where halfback is, say 67, and then find some support there. All right, well, they just cut through that big note of volume like butter. Like butter. They should have had a lot more resistance getting through there if the market was bearish. So I'm looking for, like I said, a bigger pullback. Maybe down here to 69, maybe down here to like 66. And then finding support would be bullish. Okay, just pulled the value area even higher, back up completely into yesterday's range. Still overlapping to lower, but that is slightly bullish to see. So we got a poor high. Normally we get a push away, but if they instantly repair it, that is slightly more bullish. Okay, market is one time framing higher. Arthur, maybe FOMO buyers see it as bargain prices. Yeah, it could be. There's a tricky thing when it comes to talking about FOMO, right? Because there's two potential things that are pushing the market higher here today. Sure, it could be new traders that have FOMO that are desperate to get into the trade, but that doesn't seem as likely to me as it's just more of the people who went short kind of just giving up on their trades. And the market moves exactly the same for both. Shorts getting squeezed and FOMO buyers. The market pumps with the same fast tempo and thin volume. James very cowish. That one's new to me. What does that mean? So I'm not going to try to short the pullback here, but instead wait and see if it finds support. Like I said, somewhere between like 69 and yesterday's low. Because if they push back down below yesterday's low, there'll be plenty of room to short down there. But until then, I'm going to wait and see if new buyers start to step in at support. Man, they're doing it again. They're buying at higher prices. So they keep doing it. They keep pushing higher on this little short squeeze, coming back down, building support, bringing in volume, and then grinding their way back up. I mean, that's a trend. That's what a trend looks like. It's very bizarre, but it's what's happening. We can't deny what's happening right in front of us. So certainly not looking to short this. Exactly, Jonathan. They're buying every dip. They've almost pulled the value area completely into yesterday's value. The higher and higher that this blue box moves, the more and more of an indication that it's not as bearish as it was when it was down here this morning. When we opened, it was completely lower than yesterday's value, which is just straight up bearish. Then it got to overlapping to lower, which is like sort of neutral to bearish. If they keep pushing this market, they'll pull it up even to overlapping to above, which is bullish to neutral. So still waiting for a bigger pullback to find support. But I'm starting to get bullish here. Feeling like I may have come in this morning with a little bit too much of a bearish bias. $131 people here, 41 likes. Please smash that like button. One small thumb up for a person, one giant thumb up for a pirate. Something like that. All right, so now the NASDAQ is testing that 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles. Will that be the resistance it needs for a larger pullback? If it's able to push right through, that is bullish, my friends. Let's jump over and look at the Q. We haven't even looked today. As it has been the case recently, it's not quite as bullish as the ES. They're only now starting to pull their value area up into yesterday's value. They also already penetrated the overnight low. So the Q's a little more bearish than the ES here. But they are one-time framing higher. And they are slowly pulling that value area up. So if this 20 moving average does cause the market to pull back here, I'd be looking for support right around yesterday's low in that 16,160 area. Okay, well, we're getting some resistance here. And we got good taper on the high. So if the market wants to pull back, this is its chance. And if it doesn't, that would just be bullish. No two ways about it. All right, there's a big red tick. First sign that the momentum to the upside might be weaning here. Market looking for a pullback. Support, support, and support. What is the balance area at this point? Well, balance, there is no balance area at this point. I would say if we were to turn around today and have some crazy bullish day where the market continues to trend higher all day long, man, I hate how delayed my computer gets when the market's moving like this. So if the market were to start trending higher today, we could call yesterday's low, the balance area low. And then look for resistance at the previous high for rotation back down to find support, and so on and so forth. But right now, at this moment, there's still a downtrend in the market. Okay, the NQ got above that 20 moving average. Now it looks like it's finding support there. That is bullish. Chris, well, welcome back. We're happy to have you. I haven't been here since July. Well, not much has changed, other than the Brigade now exists. Not much has changed. Well, you guys might not like it, but I'm going bullish here. I think we're going to get continuation. I think we're about to start trending higher. I'm in disbelief myself, but that was the seller's chance to take over right there. We've been grinding and grinding in this resistance right here. The market needs a pullback. It hasn't had a decent pullback all morning. That was their chance, and they didn't get it. So I'm certainly not looking for a short here in this market. Now we can start to have a conversation about FOMO. As the market starts to push higher, we'll get a few pops, squeezing out those people that were just piling in short here. And that could bring in new FOMO buyers. Next resistance. Well, we're kind of still not. We got to get through the overnight high, this area, like where our closing price was yesterday. I mean, that's resistance right now. But the next resistance is going to be about 85, 85, 75, 86-ish. Up in there. Classic case of putting up the green banner and then losing the ticks. Jonathan maybe just retesting overnight high. That's very possible. It's very possible. Like I said, though, just in terms of tempo and volume, if they were going to get a pullback, why aren't they doing it right now? Why do they need to go a few dollars higher? We'll keep an eye on the volume, though. Do they keep playing the same game where they push higher and then they build volume at a higher price? That would be a sign of a trend. Boom, got through 77.50. All right, Q not quite as strong as the ES here. It's in a pullback. So you got first little bit of support there at about 190. Next bit at 177. And then right around that low from yesterday, 16,159. All right. Well, now they're getting that pullback. Of course. Looking for support just above the halfback right here on the ES at about 69. Also could potentially find support right on this 20 moving average. It didn't work on the NQ though. All right, well, this tempo and the internals are starting to feel more rotational than trendy. So if the buyers are going to get a big push, they got to step in now. Or obviously, if we get a bigger pullback, step in on the dip. Let's pop over and look at the NQ. Is it finding support? It currently is, but if this area where we're trading right now breaks, I would say this area right here, just below yesterday's low, is the last potential support for buyers to step in. Otherwise, we got really good taper up here. So if we break below yesterday's low, come back up and find some resistance, could get continuation lower on the Q. Okay, printing the C period. We can start watching for one time framing here. Does the C period low stay above the B period low? If it's able to get 2 ticks below it, so basically the market now gets down to, on the ES, 46.7150, then that would be the cessation of the trend to the upside, the end of the trend, and increase the odds of rotation. And so we'll be looking for support on a pullback. We got this this node right here, just above the halfback. That's about 69.68 as potential support. And then the area just above yesterday's low. So same as the NQ, I think if the ES were to trade back down below yesterday's low, we could look for further downside continuation. But inside yesterday's range, if we do get cessation of one time framing, inside yesterday's range, I'd still be looking to go long for a rotation back to the POC. And of course, if we don't get that cessation, if the market continues to push higher from here, It is a trending day to the upside, so I'd want to just stay with that trend until we get the cessation. But it's tough to call here because the internals look rotational, not bullish. Imagine not being bullish on USD. I could imagine that. There's a lot of it being printed every day. All right, that's the cessation of one time framing. So the market is not trending higher. It is rotational. So as I mentioned, I'm looking for support in these little nodes of volume from this morning. And only really getting bearish if we get below yesterday's low. Once again. Otherwise, my assumption will be that we'll find support somewhere in here and then rotate back up. Trading Donkey says we're now trending down. Could be right. Could be right. It's so hard to call though, man. It's like as long as we've been talking about it, Donkey, of whether you consider one time framing in the A or B period, it really does feel like it's 50-50. Sometimes it starts trending in the A, B and continues, and sometimes you get a reversal. But getting a reversal doesn't mean you go the opposite direction all day. A lot of times it means you just rotate at higher prices. I mean, over the last few weeks, we've had 1 million P-shaped profiles. But the internals don't look bullish. Ticks are bearish and the other two are neutral. All right, guys. Well, with that, I'm going to bid you all farewell. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I will be here tomorrow. If it feels like a weird day where the volume is super thin and nothing's happening, I might bail. But I'm going to assume that we'll have some trade tomorrow, so I'll be here. And yeah, everybody enjoy the rest of your day. If you're a member of the Brigade, I shall see you on the private stream momentarily. If you're not a member, you can join. Link in the description. $10 a month. You can cancel anytime. You can join, decide you don't like me the next day, and cancel, and you still get the rest of the month. To just keep not liking me, I guess. All right, guys. See you later.